Well, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Tank Talks Movies. And this particular episode, we're continuing with the American Pie franchise with American Pie: The Naked Mile. The movie starts off with our main protagonist, Eric Stifler. He's pretending to be sick so he doesn't have to go to lunch with his grandma and his parents. And he waits until they all leave, so he ends up grabbing a toy figure, popping open a secret little slot in a dresser he has, and I guess he has a porno in there. So he's starting to watch this porno. And, you want to hear this stuff. But all of a sudden, his neighbor's mowing the lawn, stuff like that. Just like, so it's all the distractions. So he puts headphones on, like something like the size of these, just right on his head. And, he couldn't hear anything. He's just hearing moaning from the porn. And then after that, he's got some aloe vera and he's just jerking his Irkin like there's no tomorrow. And we cut to a scene where his parents are arguing with his mother or something. And all of a sudden, it's just because they don't want them to pay full price when there's a 2-for-1 coupon for some type of restaurant or something. And then they get into the house, and then there's a scream, and Eric trips, the cord gets pulled out of the TV, we're hearing moaning because of the porno, and then he comes, squirts his dad, squirts his mom, and also squirts his grandmother, causing his grandmother to have a heart attack. He killed his grandmother with his money shot. Alright, now we get introduced to two of Eric's friends, Matt Kuzman, and Ryan something. And, well, Kuz is just your average guy trying to get laid all the time, he's kind of just a big perv. And Ryan's like the sporty guy who just, he's a football player. He's just an all-out athlete. He's got a big chip on his shoulder and all that stuff. And he's just ready for college. So, we get introduced to these guys, they're Ryan's like the quarterback and he's like the top guy. Kuz is the weirdo, and Eric is the virgin. Then we meet Eric's girlfriend, Tracy. She's all into yoga, she likes horseback riding, all that stuff. They end up trying to have sex, but Tracy's dad comes downstairs. Eric's all running around not running around, kind of crouched down and just duck walking through the bar, goes into the laundry room, tries to hide in the hamper, doesn't really work out, hides in the dryer, puts some pantyhose on his head. Well, not pantyhose, but stockings on his head. Flies out, opens the door to the dryer, whacking Tracy's dad in the nuts, and he pretty much leaves a big turd in their dryer. He ends up he goes into Ryan's house, wakes up Ryan. He's like, what the fuck? He's still wearing the stockings on his face. He's like, dude, why are you naked? And have a rubber on your dick. So pretty much all this nonsense happens. Then they're in school. Ryan tells Eric that he has been talking to his brother Dwight Stifler. He's kind of like, he's a little more party-ish than Matt or Steve. Dwight is just a college guy. You know, he's just a college dude. So Ryan's been talking to Dwight. You know, they're having this big old party, and then they're gonna go down there for the naked mile. You know, run around naked around campus. So Matt pretty much asks his folks if he can go, and you know, they said, "Oh, his mom's like, I'll help you pack. I'll even make sandwiches, chicken salad sandwiches." Pretty much, it was like, yeah. So Coos, Eric, and Ryan go to where, I don't really know where they actually go. So they go to this fraternity house. So yeah, fraternity, and they go and enter the building. There's a bunch of people that are partying. We have Dwight and some other guy having a shot off where they're just drinking, and apparently Dwight is the world champion of drinking. They're just taking shot after shot. All of a sudden, campus security shows up and says, "Nobody can take another drink until I lay my bet down on Stifler." So everyone just starts taking shots. So this guy ends up taking his final shot, and his stomach starting to brew, and is just going. And then Dwight just belches, and just the smell of all the booze and whatever he ate came out, and the guy's like, and he just ralphs on this poor girl. This girl ends up punching this dude in the face, knocking him out. Dwight sees Matt and his friends. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna party hardy," and he just collapses. And now we have the weird jock. I believe his name is Moose. They call him Moose. So Moose is the guy. He just comes around and just starts just slamming whiskey bottles and stuff like that. And he just walks into Dwight's room and says, "Stifler, our football team got arrested trying to steal a monkey from the zoo. So, use the bail bond money." So, then Moose pretty much asks all of them if they can play football. So, asks Matt if he can play football. Asks Dwight. Dwight was there. Eric, and he asks Coos. They go, "Yeah, we can play football." "Stifler, can you play?" And he's like, "Don't ever ask a Stifler if they can play." Then he just collapses and breaks a tiny little, table. So, they go to the football field. That's just a muddy field. And they're playing against a midget not sorority, a midget fraternity. A midget fraternity. So, the midgets are like the antagonists of this movie. And, they're just a bunch of jerks. No, they're not all jerks. Midgets aren't all jerks. Just in this movie, they're the bad guys. So, they're playing football. The midgets beat them. And then they go to a party. They meet all these girls. Jill, Brandy, and Alexa. 3 of the most gorgeous girls you'll ever see that I saw in my life. Or I believe anyone would see in their lives. They're all beautiful. So, but they Jill and Alexa are, at the moment, out on a date with two of the midgets. So Ryan and Coos get cock-blocked by a pair of midgets. Dwight ends up getting drunk again, and he ends up going home with a lady that has a pet monkey. We don't want to know what happened with that monkey, with that lady. I don't know. So, Eric has a guilt-free pass for that weekend, so he can do anything, get super plowed, have sex with anyone. But Tracy doesn't want him to, second thought, because her friends are like, no, you can't do that, you can't have that, no. So, Eric's trying to be a good boy. Then he's trying to call Tracy, but he can't get a hold of her. And then we see Jim's dad, Mr. Levenstein. He ends up giving him some advice, etc., etc. Then, Dwight's pretty much trying to walk home. Then a van comes up, and a bunch of midgets come out and just jump and beat him up. Then he's in the hospital. So the guys go see him. He's like, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to run in the mile this year. Because, I got beat up. So, the guys go to the mile. All of a sudden, the midgets are talking to Eric, Coos, and Ryan, telling them about their pussies, etc. Then Dwight just comes out wearing his fucking hospital gown and just rips it off, and he's wearing his drinking title covering his Johnson. So they're pretty much okay. He meets up with Ryan, Coos, and Eric. Then he gives all three of them these pills that they think is E or something, but it's a 4-hour hard-on drug. So the girls are they're wearing lingerie. They go, why you guys still have your clothes on? Well, we're gonna just watch the mile this year, and bleh. It changed when the girls stripped down completely naked, and then the guys just quickly just ripped their clothes off, and they took some. They took the Coos and actually Ryan took the 4-hour hard-on drug right away, and he's running, and his Johnson is flopping like an elephant trunk, and Coos, apparently he took one. Took it too, and all of a sudden, it's just they're just both hard. So they're just running down the mile with boners, and a bunch of the girls are just staring, The naked mile is just a bunch of naked people running. All I can say is that. Okay. Then Brandy and Eric start making out. Tracy sees that on the TV because I guess it's a big event that, the news. So she's all sad, and then all of a sudden her two friends that are complete. One's actually kind of a good friend, and one's just a cunt. And they're trying. You need to have a guilt-free pass too. So they go to this party, and they are trying to make Tracy have sex with her ex-boyfriend, and then Eric and Brandy are in a room together, and prior to that, we're back to the boner guys again. I'm sorry, guys, but Dwight comes up behind him. You guys are legendary right now. We're gonna make this a little game type thing. They're playing ring toss because they both have hard-ons, trying to hold buckets of beer on there, see how long they could hang. Yeah, etc., etc. They had games for dang done. Then Brandy takes Eric into a room with a pool table. They start making out. Coos and Jill go into a room. Jill pretty much starts beating the crap out of Coos. Brian and Alexa go into a room. And then we just have a fuck fest. A lot more sexual content in this movie compared to any of the other ones that I've seen so far. So, Ryan's getting laid, Coos is getting laid, Eric is about to get laid, but then he kind of talks to Brandy saying, "You're a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful woman. You're gorgeous. Any man would sleep with you. I would definitely sleep with you, but I love Tracy." You know, it's like, so she's like, then go to her. So my opinion, Eric is like the Jim character from the first 3 movies. And Brandy is like Nadia from the second movie. Etc. Because she let the guy go to the one they loved. And Eric starts driving back to where they live, and his car breaks down, or it runs out of gas. He sees a horse, he steals a horse, goes to Tracy's house, rings the doorbell, he's on a horse, the dad answers the door. He's like, this guy, Tracy's dad, can't get a break. Eric shits in his dryer. Then he turns around, makes the horse turn around, and then there's shit on his porch. Poor guy. So, Tracy's dad pretty much tells Eric that she's at a party with the kind girl and just the twat. And pretty much he rides there and he leaps over, because it's he's a horse and it jumped over a brush, and he's asking people where Tracy is, because I think she went upstairs with Trent, etc., etc. And he's like banging on the door. It's like, "Tracy, don't do it. I love you. It's not about the sex. It's not about the sex. Blah blah blah." Then this Trent guy opens the door. "Dude, can't you see I'm trying to get laid here?" But it wasn't Tracy, and there was some other girl. Tracy was behind Matt, hearing whatever he said. They go into a guest room. They have sex. Then he goes back to pick up Brian and Coos. Then, there's the love scene between Eric and Tracy. There's still the love scene is still going on with Coos and Jill, and Alexa and Ryan are still going at it. Then after they're done, it's kind of just like everyone's just like holding, cuddling. Coos is tied to a fucking chair. Jill is sleeping on the bed. Ryan and Alexa are just like, spooning. And then, Eric shows up, and they ask, "So, did you go anywhere with that Brandy chick?" And he's like, "No." And I guess Ryan and Coos had a bet if Eric would lose his virginity that night. And pretty much what happened is, he's like, "But I did sleep with Tracy last night." So, Ryan grabbed his money back, because he did technically lose his virginity. And Coos is putting ice and shit in his pants, front and back. And then they get into the car, they start driving back. Then they cut to the midget the midget's house, okay? Yeah. Prior to this, at the party, Dwight hooks up with the main midget's girlfriend, and they do it. So apparently they filmed it and sent a DVD to the midget. And you know, it's American Pie, guys. We have to have someone yell out, "Stifler!" And then it goes to the end credits. And guys, I highly recommend American Pie: The Naked Mile. It's not. It's a pretty good comedy. And if you're just a straight out perv that likes that nudity, there's a fuck ton of nudity. Tits, ass, some pussy. It's, you know, it's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. So, this has been Tank Talks Movies, American Pie: The Naked Mile. And have a good one.